Business Bites. Go further and grow stronger with InvestNI. Join local businesses generating billions exporting to Europe. Check your export readiness with InvestNI's free online export health check. Business Bites with InvestNI.
Another year and another series of Business Bites. A very big welcome and a very happy new year. I'm Caroline Fleck, and it is with great pleasure that we invite our first guest on Business Bites this year from the employer marketing company, The Formula. I welcome their managing director, Emma Murray. Emma, happy new year to you.
Happy New Year, Caroline. How are you?
I'm good. I'm kind of wondering when we stop saying Happy New Year.
Yeah,
Emma,
I
I'd love to find out about people and about their backgrounds. And you have a very interesting background. I want to know a little bit about you, first of all.
Yeah, sure. Well, my name is Emma Murray, as you said, and I have been working in employer marketing for the last 25 years now, 26. I'm starting to get a little bit scared about that figure. But I've been working in employer marketing since then. So back in 1998. And really, I'm still very proud and passionate to be working within that particular sector of marketing, because it has evolved so much and the media landscape has evolved. Candidates' requirements have evolved so much. So I have been working in employer marketing since then.
So Emma, The Formula comes from great stock. Tell us the origins of the company.
Yes, the Formula is actually a sister company of ASG and Partners. So actually we created the new identity for our employer marketing division last year. And that really was in response to HR teams and recruiters needing a more sort of 360 approach to recruitment. So a very much more tailored and bespoke solution, as opposed to the bread and butter type of marketing that we would have done for them previously, which would have been very much sort of recruitment advertising, planning and buying their media and making sure that the posts were advertised in the correct channels, be it press, be it digital, radio, outdoor. And that sort of service and specialism has developed so much more that now we actually work with our clients to really develop their employer brand, help them and support them with research and insights, improve their employer comms strategies as well as the recruitment advertising. So we really saw an opportunity. So we've been doing this work for a long time, but we never really shouted about it. And sort of now is the time, as the landscape has changed for recruiters, we wanted to make sure that they were aware of what we could actually support them with.
I mean, I've worked in marketing for a long time myself, and I'm a chartered marketer. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't know an awful lot about employer marketing. So for those people watching today, if you had to describe the term employer marketing, how would you do that for them?
Employer marketing really is sort of supporting clients in retaining talent for their organization. So there are a number of different solutions and strategies in place to position an organization as an employer of choice to help them attract quality talent, but also actually often more importantly, help them retain quality talent. So we provide them with those tools in order to attract and retain the best talent for their organization. And that's very important at this time, when our employment rates are at their highest. So organizations are struggling really to fill available posts.
So who should be using employer marketing? Are we talking just big companies that employ, maybe hundreds of people, or is this something that small business should be looking at as well?
Absolutely. It applies to all businesses, organizations that will invest in their employer brand and position themselves are 3 times more likely to get a quality hire. And candidates actually on the other side, almost 3/4 are actually look at a company's reputation before they even consider making a job application. So very much so, your employer brand, and it's not seen as a luxury. it's actually necessary in this particular environment to sort of attract and retain, especially when we are in that sort of competitive space where organizations are really, really vying for it. So we've helped, SMEs to sort of large corporations with thousands of staff. We look after some organizations who are the biggest employers in Northern Ireland, down to organizations that have, 150 plus staff as well.
Let's talk about employer brand and that term, employer brand. Just describe what you mean to us about that. What do you mean about the employer brand?
Well, employer brand, any organization actually already has an employer brand. It's whether it's what maybe do they want it to be. It is actually the main thing, so you will already have an employer brand, but what you might want it to be could be completely different. So it's really looking at your employer value proposition. So it's an organization's understanding a company's culture, their values, and how they interact with their staff, and making sure sort of all those messages and company culture actually plays out throughout the whole recruitment life cycle. So, a new candidate applying to see, your role, they should feel a consistency in how the brand from the first time they see to actually going through the whole applicant process, to their interview, to the email that they perhaps get to interview, to actually the full life cycle, and until they very actually step in the door. So very much so, it's really all about your company culture, your mission, your values, and how you actually play that out and making sure it's consistent right throughout all the candidate touch points that they will have as they make their sort of journey of application.
So for anyone watching today, at what point should an employer look at their brand? And at what point should they, for instance, recruit you to look at their employer marketing?
In terms of looking at your employer brand, we with the struggle currently now in the current marketplace, there's a struggle to actually recruit the best talent. There isn't as much talent, so organizations are competing against each other. I suppose what we aim to do is actually help you attract and retain the best staff. But what we want to do is actually reduce that. A good, strong employer brand will actually reduce your cost per hire by up to 50%, and also improve your talent retention by up to 28%. So, investing in your employer brand, whilst it is an investment, but actually it will actually outweigh any costs, and it should actually be reducing your cost per hire. We have seen organizations who don't take the time to invest in their employer brand, and they go out with a campaign just because there's a reactive approach and they need to just recruit. We want to recruit now, and it becomes ineffective because essentially the campaign's out for a couple of weeks, and our candidates don't really get to understand what the offer is, and perhaps they just don't get the right results. So invest in an employer brand, I would say, it's something that needs to be looked at now for future planning. It's certainly, it's an important piece of information that allows you to attract talent, but more importantly, retain talent, and then support you in sort of future-proofing your talent pool.
And obviously with the change, Emma, of the media landscape, the way people are recruiting is very different now from, say, when I was applying for jobs, it was basically the job section in the newspaper.
Yeah, absolutely. It has changed so much. I've seen it personally myself over the last number of years, where yes, it has gone from a sort of press-based approach to now it's a multi-channel landscape. And we have a team of media planners and buyers that actually ensure that our clients' advertising campaigns are put out in front of the right audiences at the right time. So, it really has changed how we market. We use a combination. We still use press, by the way. We still use press, but there's so many digital channels out there. We use radio. We use outdoor to sort of get across the message. to the right audience at the right time. So we have a number of planning tools that we use to actually identify the best media channels for our clients so that we do actually keep their costs and sort of value add as best as possible.
And of course, the formula constantly investing in research into that landscape as well. You've got an exciting piece of research which is ongoing at the moment, which hopefully we'll hear more about in 2024.
Yes, we commissioned a piece of research and it went out to field in December in 2023. And it's specifically on the Northern Ireland labour market. So it's asking job seekers and sort of the general population what they're looking for in terms of career opportunities, what makes them stay in a role, what would make them leave a role. And it's bespoke to Northern Ireland. So this is the first time a lot of the research on sort of job seeking and motivation and consumption is often GB based. And what we have done is actually commissioned this piece of research, which is purely NI focused. So it'll really give recruiters and marketing teams and organisations a real understanding of what candidates are looking for in roles and how to use that information to actually improve their employer marketing communications as they go forward into 2024.
It sounds great. Can't wait to see it. And I suppose we're finishing off 2024. We're at the very start of a new year. Are you already seeing some trends in HR and recruitment evolving already, or any predictions for us?
Certainly in employer marketing, the trends very much are, it's a candidate-led market. It's what it was in 2023 and before it. So very much the communications should be as personalized as possible. We see a lot of great results when clients use their own people. So essentially employee advocacy to actually improve their employer brand. Organise our potential candidates actually do trust someone who actually will work for the organisation. So that sort of employee advocacy and truth, very much personalised content. So making sure that your audience we're reaching out to the right people on the right channels. So if we are reaching out to graduates and early careers, that we actually are using a combination of the strongest performing media channels for those, including social media. We use a lot of TikTok now for recruitment content. And also in terms of, something else that candidates are looking for, again, it's that personalization. So rewards and benefits are very, very important. Absolutely. Salary is still very important, but they're also looking to find out what other rewards and benefits are available to them. So, and what matters to them now. And over the last number of years, flexibility, where remote working is here to stay. So organizations that really want to stay competitive, you will see that remote working and that offer of flexible working. It's what other benefits you can provide to your candidates. That could be, health insurance policies and, what your offering is to or young people and others in terms of career progression, so on. So it's very much about personalized content and making sure that you're putting out the right rewards and benefits.
Emma, I could talk to you for much, much longer. Maybe we'll have you back again to talk a little bit further about the research when it does come out. For now, thank you so much for being our first guest on Business Bites for 2024. Emma Murray from The Formula. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Business Bites. Go further and grow stronger with InvestNI. Join local businesses generating billions, exporting to Europe. Check your export readiness with InvestNI's free online export health check. Business Bites with InvestNI.